Summary of Chapters 810. Chapter 8. Run for Your Lives. Jack, Annie, and Ben Franklin arrive in the Frog Creek Woods in 2019. Jack and Annie are back in their normal clothes, but Ben still wears his old-time outfit with ruffled collar and buckle shoes. Ben looks confused and has trouble breathing at first. Annie tells him he's in their time and hometown. Ben doesn't understand, but slowly calms down. Ben touches a leaf and says it feels real even though everything is strange. He wonders what science would say about time travel. Jack suggests they just think of it as a big mystery. Ben agrees that time itself is a mystery and asks to see his future country. They climb down from the treehouse, with Jack and Annie helping Ben with the ladder. As they walk through the woods, Ben names the trees and birds, noting they're the same as in his time. Jack warns him that things outside the woods will be different, but Ben says he has traveled the world and fears nothing. When they step out of the woods, Ben is amazed by the smooth black road. Jack tells him it's paved with asphalt. Ben touches it and can't believe how flat and clean it is. A green station wagon drives by and honks, making Ben jump back in fear. Annie explains it's a car. Jack says cars are like carts and buggies, but with engines instead of horses. As they walk, Ben notices more strange things. A sprinkler watering grass and power lines, which he thinks are clotheslines. Jack tries to explain electricity, but gets confused himself. Annie whispers to Ben that they don't really understand how it works either. Suddenly, Ben hears a strange buzzing noise from above. The sound gets louder, and they see a small airplane flying overhead. Terrified, Ben yells, "Run for your lives," and hurries back into the woods. Chapter 9. A Good Idea. Jack and Annie follow Ben back into the woods and find him hiding under a tree. Jack tells him it was an airplane and that it won't hurt him or fall from the sky. Annie adds there are thousands of planes, and Jack mentions rockets that go to the moon. Ben says this is impossible. While trees and squirrels are familiar, power lines and moon rockets are too much. He says, "I fear there is no place for me here. I am a plain and simple man." Annie says he's not plain, but a genius. Ben disagrees, saying his inventions are nothing compared to cars and flying machines. Jack asks if Ben has decided about signing the Constitution. Ben says it doesn't matter anymore because the delegates' ideas seem small. When Annie insists his work matters a lot, Ben just asks to go home. Jack and Annie start leading him back to the treehouse. Annie whispers to Jack that Morgan was wrong. Their everyday wonders haven't helped Ben, but only confused him. Jack feels bad that they've upset one of history's greatest heroes and failed to change his mind about signing the Constitution. Before they reach the treehouse, Annie has an idea. She tells Ben there's one more thing he needs to see. Though Ben sighs, he agrees to follow her. Annie leads them to the Frog Creek Library. Inside the library, Ben enjoys the cool air and is amazed by the room. People of all ages and races are reading books or using computers. Annie points out that Ben started the first public library, and now there are thousands across America. Annie shows Ben a poster for Ben Franklin in Paris and says he's famous in history. Jack adds that Ben's face is on the $100 bill, which surprises and pleases him. Ben notices the sign "Open to All" and comments on what a wonderful community they have. He's touched to see so many children reading and learns that America now has free schools for everyone, even girls, for at least 12 years. Annie then shows him a computer. Chapter 10. We the People. Ben stares at the computer as Annie explains it's for learning about the world. Jack turns it on and searches for United States of America. Ben gasps when a map and the Great Seal appear on the screen. Ben reads that the United States now has 50 states from the Atlantic to the Pacific, with more than 325 million people, including immigrants from around the world. Ben recognizes the Great Seal because he helped create it in 1776. He reads the Latin phrase "e pluribus unum," out of many one. Annie explains this means the United States is made up of many states and people from around the world, but they are one nation. Ben wonders if the delegates have forgotten these words. He asks how they can come together when they're so divided. Annie suggests they need to keep talking, listening, and agree to move forward. Jack adds that they can make important changes later through amendments. Annie mentions amendments for women's voting rights. And Jack adds ending slavery and equal rights for all. Ben realizes creating the Constitution is just the first step, not the last. He stands up, saying he must return home for the afternoon session. He now understands the Constitution is very important. As they leave the library, Ben says his world may seem rough compared to the future, but it's filled with new discoveries. He can help create a constitution that will change history. Though he doesn't agree with everything in it, he understands that amendments will improve it later. They must come together as one country or they may never get another chance. Back at the treehouse, they find Morgan Le Fay waiting inside. Morgan congratulates Jack and Annie on completing their missions. Ben thanks them for showing him the wonders of their world, especially how all people are treated equally. He asks them to always be curious and full of wonder. With a flash of lightning and thunder, the treehouse, Morgan, and Ben disappear. Jack and Annie realize that the everyday wonders Morgan meant wasn't modern technology but the library, a place where Ben could see his ideas had grown and flourished.